Taking them back, baby.
All right. Freedom Williams, things that make you go, and I think he's right here. Freedom, what's up?
Hey, what's up, John?
What's up, B? How are you? Thank you so much for coming. Whoever knew back in the old days when I used to hang out by the beach in Wildwood listening to your music that you'd be on my show one day. How's it going?
It's good, man.
Now listen, you got a long history as well. You started playing
A little bit.
What? Second grade, you started playing trombone, right?
Yeah, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. Then it was too big for me to carry, so I quit.
So then, what got you in?
Little.
What got you into the music business?
Well, I knew since the second grade I wanted to be an entertainer. I mean, it was, I played Frederick Douglass in a second grade play.
Okay.
You know, when the teachers just, they didn't ask you who you wanted to play. They just handed out, you play Harriet Tubman, you're John Kennedy, you're Abraham Lincoln. And so I had this thing, it was Frederick Douglass. So all the kids were playing, they were joking, and they were throwing, and I was like, do they understand that our parents are gonna be here? Like, it boggled my, it was the first time I realized that people don't take things serious, I swear to God, second grade. So I read it, and everybody was playing. I was reading it, and backstage, all the parents were there. And the kids came out, and they didn't know their lines. They were stumbling. You know how 7-year-olds are.
Tough.
I'm Harriet Tubman. I was an underbound werewolf. I was like, really? I was annoyed. At 7, I was annoyed that they didn't have their act together. So I was so ready to go. So I walked outside, and when parents look at the kids, they're like not paying attention. It's like, well, how you doing, Geraldine? How you doing, Maureen? And the kids is not making. So I walked out. I literally did like this. And went, I am Frederick Douglass. I swear to God, in my little voice. And every parent went, whoop. And it was at that moment that I realized, I got him. 7 years old, I said, I can do this. It's really not that hard.
If you're born to be an entertainer, it's not.
Well, I just figured, I was nervous because the principal, I didn't want to look stupid.
I love that. When I was younger and I was in dance recitals, I was the one who was looking at all the other girls like, you're not doing this right. And
You're
like
not
watching them.
practicing?
So I feel it.
It's embarrassing.
I got it.
Now listen, as time went on, when you were a teenager, what style of music were you into that got you into actually like that dance type of music?
I was never into dance music. I stumbled on it by accident. Who wants to be? No.
Well, that's what happens.
I was in
usually.
hip hop, right? And then I was a hip hop head, but the guys I was working with in the studio was Cavellis and Cole, and then you had Eminem, Morales, Munzabai, you had Dave Shaw, Boy Jarvis, you know, all these house remix producers. I was an engineer in a place called Quad Studios on 49th
I know
Street.
Quad Studios.
Right. And I was a hip hop head, but David Cole was so soulful and proficient on the keyboard. I mean, Sal mentioned, Notice Me, that Doom, big record. And he was just so swift. And I was like, wow, this guy makes this dance thing really funky. And then Rob Bass had a record, and I was walking down Fulton Street, and it was fast. I want to rock right now. And this guy had a Jeep, and it was blasting out the Jeep. And he was rocking. I was like, you can do this fast thing. You just got to figure out where you go inside the track. And I always tell Rob Bass, he's really one of the most underrated lyricists. Because if you think about how fast that track is, he didn't attack it. He went, I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known. And I was like, that was so clever because he didn't compete. And Rakim is also very good at it. It's been a long time. So a lot of guys can't rap on fast beats because they try to outthink the beat and say these big words, and it's, So that's how I started to make that transition.
Now, how did it come about that you wound up with CNC Music Factory? Were they together, or were they forming, or they kind of put you all together?
No, I was an engineer.
Okay.
And I went to engineering school.
Okay.
A friend of mine from my college days who I bumped into on a train, we ended up in the same music school, Center for Media Arts, about 87. I think Albie Shaw went there, Marley Marl. You graduate, you get a little piece of paper that says you can engineer what you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be taking out garbage.
You got to
and
go to
coffee
the trenches
for 2 years. And so I ended up in Quad, got fired the first day I was hired, had nowhere to go, went home, went back, had an argument with the owner of the studio, said, you can't fire me. He goes, I didn't fire you yesterday. I said, you can't fire me because, first of all, you never hired me really, and you aren't gonna pay me. I worked for a year for free. And that's how I got in the studio. And then I started to meet, Cameo, You know, Spike Lee. The first session I did was The Butt with Spike Lee and Marcus Miller from Queens. Because in my mind, I wanted to be in the music business. But I figured, what's the one place everybody goes? The studio. Not everybody goes to the record label. Not everybody goes to the club.
No.
But the manager, the promotions guy, the book, everybody. So I said, I'll meet somebody. And that's how I started to work with those guys, you know.
Now, once that all came about, when you came out with your first debut album was Gonna Make You Sweat, and that thing blew up big, had
Yeah,
three
blew up.
#1 hits. Just the shape that you guys were in, I mean, what was your regimen? Just with staying in shape, you eating, because you were buffed out back in the day.
You don't
And the
think I'm buffed out now?
You're looking good, buddy. Is he looking good or what?
Hey,
Yeah.
watch it. He said back in the day, like I was gonna let that ride.
Bro, you gotta see me back in the day. Forget
Like
about
now.
it.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. Who you think he's talking to here? Ventriloquist?
Listen, I looked like G.I. Joe back in the day. But anyway, that was a big production.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that. I mean, how did that all come about?
Well, that was supposed to be my solo album. And I would worked with them on Cover Girl Records and, you know, different records, you know, mixing. We would do 4 studios at once. Quad had 4 studios, 8th floor, 12th floor, the penthouse, and the 6th. And I would be engineering on one session, you know, doing a record, maybe a Jackson's remix or something, Michael Jackson remix. Then on the 8th floor, I'd be assistant engineering. And then on the 12th floor, I'd be doing vocals. They didn't know I could rhyme, CNC. Because, you know, back in the days, it was etiquette. You didn't come to the studio to rap. You came to the studio to work with the Vandross. So stay in your position, which is a lot of these young artists don't get that because they don't have exposure to the studios. Because the studios shut down, and now the guys are making records in their house, so therefore they don't respect the generation before them because they don't know them.
And the drums and the bass and the guitar and
Right.
the keys.
See, I knew the guys before me. I knew Larry Blackman. I knew, you know, Luther Vandross and Kumo D. And so, you know, we would be running 2 or 3 sessions, and so I started to rhyme. My guy said, you know, Freedom can rap. They were like, he can't rap, he's his engineer. They're like, no, he really can rhyme because I went to school with him and he did all the parties. And so David said to me, you want to rhyme on a song? I forget what it was. I think it was not a seduction record. I forgot what it was, but they're like, oh, you're really good. But I really wanted to do that. I was just playing the background until that opportunity came. Then I was going to take it, and it came. Like, we did my first record went top 20.
Yeah, that was sick.
I love that. I want to be one of your backup dancers. When you were rehearsing before, I was
Oh,
like,
no, we were
I
serious.
want to be a backup dancer. I want to do it because Gonna Make You Sweat, which I know is Everybody Dance now because I was actually born in 1991. But this song is one that has. But this
Doing
is
10 years in 1991.
I was doing 10.
Bling Bling Institution.
this song is actually one that really stood the test of time though because I grew up in dance school dancing to it or warming up to it. So it's something that I grew up with. So what is it like for you that you still hear it everywhere, I'm sure?
It's surreal because, you know, we made the record. Again, it's another story how we made the record, but I wrote the song like 3 times. Didn't fit the first time, second time, I was like, and we were that way. We were perfectionists in the studio. We would do a record all night until we got one verse right. Did the record. I was like, it's a dance record. I don't know. You know, I was a hip hop head, but I started to understand dance because of Robert and David, and then the engineers I worked with. The record came out Tuesday. By Wednesday, it was a smash. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we can do this.
Exactly.
You know.
100%. Now
100%.
listen, let's fast forward the tape a little. What happened with CNC? How come you left the group?
Well, I killed them all. One, you know, got rid of them, bumped them off.
Whacked them out.
It got on my nerves. I was like, you know what, get them. You know, it just got time. You know, David passed in '95, David Cole.
Oh, he
His
did,
spinal
huh?
meningitis, yeah. And the other guy got on my nerves so much I couldn't tolerate him being in the same room. Like, if you were him, I'd be at your throat. So
That's it, I'd be done.
It couldn't work. And so, you know, again, that was supposed to be my solo album. We had done the Brat Pack. We had done some Luther Vandross remixes and some different, you know, Pink Cadillacs. So, you know, I had been with them a few years. And I was already tired of them by the time we got to the CNC. Now, in hindsight, I should have did 3 more albums. But who knew?
See, that's the toughest thing in the music business. People don't realize that whether you're big or you're small, is keeping a band or a group together is more than half the battle.
Well, I'm writing a book now. I'm halfway done. It's called Lip Sync. And it's about what goes on behind the scenes. How come there's 3 groups called the Platters? How was there Snap and Chill Rob Dre with the same record? how did the Beach Boys get into, you know, legal entanglements with their title? The Jets are fighting over their name.
Everybody.
So it's, you know, when you're 21, you're making money, you don't have to like the person you're hanging out with. You know, if you're in the street, you got to like the person you're hanging out with because it's protection. But if I got money and you got money, you can go to your own condo. So it's easy if you don't have the maturity to kind of work through your issues. And who does it 20, 22, 23? You need to be 40 to know you can't get divorced.
Your solo career, Freedom, and then it came to the Voice of Freedom
The
Williams.
little one I had.
Yes. How long did you stay with that for? A couple of years?
Freedom? That was one of my favorite records. I did that record, you know, and I had some beef with Sony. They were a little bit mad that I broke up a multi-million-dollar
of
group,
course.
right? They wasn't really happy. But again, I was 24. I didn't care if you weren't happy. I didn't know he was the president of the record label. I didn't care. So they kind of didn't really work my solo record. It was a really good record. And so then I left Sony and did some other records. I had a record in 2009, 2010, top 20 in the dance charts.
That.
You know, so it's the 25th anniversary. Gonna Make You Sweat. I've got a new record coming out with that.
Awesome, right?
Hey.
Now, Freedom, listen, that's almost your time, unfortunately. Let's talk about the Legends of Freestyle, produced by my friend Steve Staniels.
Yes.
How did you get involved? And you're also a producer of it.
Yeah, well, JT called me.
JT.
JT.
Get out of here.
John Thomas in the building.
Jesus. JT. Forget about it.
Forget about it. And then he told me about Steve, and then I called Hanson, and I said, Steve, you got to talk to Sal. You know, I mean, I'm not a freestyle guy. I'm a dance guy. That's a hip-hop head. But we produced some of the Cover Girl records, so I was familiar with it because they were all my friends. I knew Coro, Johnny O, Cynthia for years. But I said, he says, no, but your record is big, so I need you in it. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And that's how we got involved, and then I established a relationship with, you know, I met you, I think, with Steve.
Yes.
And then so Steve Staniels, and, you know,
Good,
became
man.
cool, man.
And listen,
Kanye West's bodyguard.
Yeah, that's another whole story.
Yeah, that's a story on its own.
Yeah, that's
Now-
Steve Staniels.
Before we wrap you up, a lot of people don't know Freedom's like an entrepreneur. He does so many things. From you have your own construction company, which
Yeah, I build.
I do construction too. So if you ever need an extra plasterer, let me know.
You're offering your services to everybody. So
He
Everybody.
does demo. He does the demolition.
First, he wanted to perform with
I'm
Sal.
pimping myself out right now. I got a lot of bills and houses I got to pay off.
Yeah. Well.
So whatever it is. But listen, we got a little surprise for you, a little present.
Cold, 40 ounce.
This is late night with
Old
Johnny.
English.
Late night with Johnny P. Organic wine. It has
Organic.
stronger alcohol,
Good.
but it's good. You go home one night and you drink that and have
Thank you.
fun.
Hemp wine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So listen, where can people find you on the internet if they want to look you up?
Sexualchocolate.com. Hotboy69. You know. Freedom Williams. I mean, that's corny, right?
Free me
FreedomWilliams.com. Instagram, Freedom Williams. That doesn't sound very. I got to get something better than that.
No, that's perfect.
MasculineMan.com.
That's it. Buff.
I don't even sound cool.
Nah, you-
JamesBond.com.
That's it.
Freedom Williams. Just Google me, you know.
It's
But
cool
listen-
when all you need is your name. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
You
That's all
made
you
it.
got.
Now, when your new album comes out, I definitely want you back on the show and you promote it, and I'm sure I'm definitely going to be seeing you. Because once you're in, you can't get out over here.
Yeah, just ask me.
Talk to me.
Talking to me.
That's it. You too.
Told me I can't get out or something. Huh? Johnny P.
Listen, Freedom Williams, everybody.
Johnny P.
Yeah. All right.